Hello, welcome back to another video. Today I am going to be having a little look at my stats for the year. I'm going to bombard you with stats, so if that's not your kind of thing, and then I will be going through all of the goals that I set myself in December. I set myself quite a few goals and see which ones I'm achieving and which ones I'm most certainly not achieving. So I have my handy paper because I'm so technologically advanced. So let's start with some basic stats. Number of books this year, 37. Number of pages, 10,474, which, if you get your calculator out, means that my average book length is 283 pages per book. Now that's quite significantly lower than my usual because I have been enjoying a lot of shorter books this year. Plus I did my short stories video, which was like 6 books that were like short stories that were like 30 pages a piece. So that's brought the average down a bit, but yeah, I have been enjoying some books under 300 pages, which is different for me. So mood wise, so just jumping in here, I'm going to show a load of graphics. I better move over a bit so I can put them here. A load of graphics from Storygraph. If you don't use Storygraph, it is fantastic. You can track all your books and it gives you data. So if you're a data nerd, it's the place to be. So mood-wise, reflective, emotional and adventurous make up more than 50% of my reading this year, which isn't super surprising, though adventurous doesn't usually come this high, but reflective and emotional is definitely my sort of jam. Non-fiction versus fiction is something that I need to try and remedy in the next quarter. So only 8% of my reading has been non-fiction so far this year, so I really want to try and pick up some more non-fictions as we go through, because that's quite low and I'd really like it to be closer to 20%, I think. But yeah, I just haven't picked any up really. Genre wise, we have sci-fi set at the top, so 9 sci-fi books, but those are all the short stories, so 6 of those are sci-fi short stories, so it sort of throws it out of whack a bit. So really my top is literary, 9 books literary fiction, 8 books fantasy and 7 classics, and then hopefully you can see the other smattering of genres if I have edited this correctly. So as I said before, I have read a lot more shorter books this year, so that breaks down as 44% under 300 pages, which is a lot for me, 44% between 300 and 500, which is sort of my standard, and then 11% over 500, which is where I would expect there to be probably more, but I certainly have some chunkers planned for the rest of the year, so we can expect that to change. So the largest book that I have read this year is Lonesome, which was about 950 pages, and I read with the delightful Carrie over at Very Literary Carrie. It was a joy. The smallest book that I've read so far this year is The Visit, which was one of the sci-fi short stories that came in at like 30 pages. And the highest rated that I've read, according to Goodreads, is indeed Lonesome Dove, which I would concur with, because right now it's probably sitting more or less at the top, if not at the top, of my books read so far this year. So author-wise, so my split of male to female is 55% female, 42% male and 3% non-binary, so I think that's fine. I would like to read more non-binary authors just because I like to read from different perspectives, but I'm reasonably happy as long as I'm not reading majority white middle class men. I'm relatively happy with that situation. So moving on to diversity of authors, I have decided to measure this slightly differently this year, and I'll be looking at nationality rather than author of colour versus white author, because I think you get more diversity from reading about different cultures from different countries. So far this year I have read from 21 different nationalities. So authors of 21 different nationalities. that was hard to say. Predominantly this is because a lot of authors are dual nationality, so some of these will be American Nigerian or whatever, or Scottish Irish, but the point is that I'm getting sort of a wider view of the world by reading authors from different nationalities. So yeah, 21 different nationalities. However, by far the nationality that I read the most from is American. So 31% of the authors I've read this year have been American, 16% have been English, and then literally one for every other nationality. I'll put a list up of all the nationalities I've read so far this year, but I'm quite pleased with that. That's quite a lot. I've only read one author twice in this first quarter, and that is Ellen Montgomery, who's a Canadian author, because I read the first two in the Anne of Green Gables series. So moving on to ratings, and this is my last statty bit. Across the quarter, I have had 7 5-star books, 16 4-star books, 9 3-star books, 3 2-star books, and 1 1-star book. And I'm pretty happy with that. So 19% of my reading has been 5-star, 43% has been 4-star. So overall, 5 and 4-star, which are what I would classify as really good books. 62%, so well over half. So pretty good start to the year. So that is it for the stats. Let's move on to goals. And if you saw my goals video, you will know that I set myself quite a lot of goals. Some of them are going well, some of them are going fine, and some of them aren't going anywhere. So let's have a look. So I did a video with books that I wanted to prioritise in 2022. That is the year we're on. So that consisted of books and series. So with regard to that, the priority books, I read 3 out of 10 that I wanted to prioritise. So that's fine, 30% with 25% through the year. So technically I'm above that goal. Series, I set myself 5 series that I wanted to either continue or finish. I haven't read one single book. Not a 1, 0, nil point, losing. The other sort of year-long challenge I set myself was to read 10 books from the 100 book bucket list, scratch bucket list thing. Check out the video if you have no idea what I'm talking about. And I set myself 10 books from that, and so far I have read 2 out of the 10, so 20%, so technically I'm slightly below. However, I am currently about 30 pages from the end of a third one, so I'm happy with that. That's fine. Non-fiction. So as you can probably tell by the stats, I'm not doing so well with this. I wanted to read 20 non-fiction books in 2022, and I have read 2. Moving swiftly on, translated books. I wanted to read 10 translated books. I've read 8, so I am smashing that goal to pieces. What I must not do is be like, okay, I can not focus on that for the rest of the year and then get to the end of December and be like, I'm still on 8 out of 10. My overall books that I wanted to read for the year, sorry, this is in a funny order. I obviously thought of this later on when I was writing. I wanted to read 72 books this year. I set that really as a nominal target, so that equates to 6 books per month. I read 37, so I am at 51% of that goal, so I'm well ahead. Definitely will achieve that this year, but I'm not really worried about number of books, to be fair. Big books over 500 pages. I put this goal in just to make sure that I don't just read shorter books. I wanted to read 10. I've read 4 so far this year, so 40%. That's fine. New releases. I haven't read a single book that has been released in 2022 yet, though obviously it's harder at the beginning of 2022 to pick up books. That's just a cop out, let's be honest. I could have picked some up, but I haven't, so I need to focus on that a little bit going forwards. NetGalley score, try and get that up to 20%. I haven't picked up a single ARC, so that's not going well. Try to read 12 Kindle Unlimited books. which is actually going very well. I've read 6 because all of the short stories were Kindle Unlimited books. So I am ahead on that goal. And then I wanted to reread 4 books, and I have reread 2 already. So again, ahead with that. And I'm currently rereading a 3rd, Pachinko, which I'm reading with the most amazing group of people for the Pachinko along. I also had some goals that I had in mind with regard to book prizes this year. So I wanted to read 2 rounds for the BookTube prize. I've read 1. I'm sitting this one out, but I will apply for round 3 and 4 and see what happens. If I don't get picked, I can't really complete that goal. So that's fine. But so far I'm on track. I also want to read the Jalak shortlist, which will be announced, I think on the 18th of this month. So next week, if this goes up on time. And also the Women's Prize shortlist, which will be announced at the end of this month on the 27th, I want to say. And I have already read a few from the long list and have more on the plan for this month. So that should be fine. And that was it. That was all of my reading goals. I did have some channel goals as well, but I think I will check in with the channel goals at the end of the year because they're a bit more subjective. So yeah, we'll do a whole channel review in December, but that is how I'm going. So some of them are going quite well. Most of them are more or less on track, with a few that just I haven't done anything with yet. So focus needs to shift for quarter 2. But we'll see how that goes. So yes, let me know, are you achieving your goals? Have you changed your goals at all since the start of 2022? I keep forgetting what year we're on. And yeah, it was lovely to see you all. If you want to check out the original goals video, I will put it right here, and I will see you all very soon with another one. Cheers guys.